How Tom Cruise became impossible to dislike, despite his checkered dating history. The 63-year-old has succumbed to a string of younger girlfriends and multiple divorces, yet he continues to rise above cancel culture. In the opening sequence of Top Gun: Maverick, Tom Cruise is informed that drones will soon replace fighter jet test pilots like him. The end is inevitable. The officer tells his character, Maverick, "Your kind are headed for extinction." The same could be said for many actors of Cruise's generation, men who have, in the cultural shift that has occurred since Me Too, been accused of sleaziness, controlling behavior, egregious age gaps, and even abuse. Cruise, meanwhile, has managed to glide above it all like the movie stars of the past, despite having his own undeniably checkered dating history. The 63-year-old now finds himself single again after news broke this week that he and Cuban-American actress Ana de Armas, 37, had split up. The affair wasn't exactly Burton and Taylor. The couple were first seen having what was described at the time as a work dinner in London in February, and were then spotted rather chastely holding hands in Vermont in July. Cruise, who has fashioned himself as an honorary Briton, is also said to have taken the actress to an Oasis concert at Wembley Stadium and to David Beckham's 50th birthday party. Perhaps de Armas was less keen on reliving the heyday of British 1990s culture than Cruise, although the official reason for their split, according to a source in the Daily Mail, was their impressively dedicated work ethic. They ended up realizing that they should keep it professional because they weren't able to figure it out as a couple, and they wanted to save the future of their friendship and their movie, said the source, nodding to the upcoming supernatural thriller, Deeper, which they both star in. What is clear is that no matter how many failed relationships Cruise accrues, the press and the public are inclined to see him in a benevolent light. Part of this is because of the way the star, who hasn't had a long-term girlfriend since he split with Katie Holmes in 2012, conducts his love life. Cruise is a serial monogamist, says one film industry insider, which means that rather than flitting from supermodel to supermodel, he will find one actress who is in a career upswing. They all seem to be rising stars when he gets together with them, and who is younger than him but not too young, and he will be very solidly with her for a certain number of years or months. This fits with Cruise's entire way of doing business. Professionally, he has always been talented at building up and then dismantling his various personas, be it the golden boy, the action hero, or the tortured man, at different points of his career. He has this cyclical thing of constructing an image everyone loves before moving on as something else, says the film insider. His relationships weirdly mirror this pattern. He will enter a coupleship that is all desperately tasteful, and that will later be dismantled without rancor. And even when he is single, there is never any insinuation that he is tomcatting around in the same way his peers are. Cruise's celebrity relationships stretch back to 1985, when he met the megastar, Cher, at Sean Penn and Madonna's wedding. He was 23 and she was 38. Although their fling lasted less than a year, Cher later described him as one of her top 5 lovers. In 1987, he married the actress Mimi Rogers, who is said to have introduced him to the Church of Scientology, and who later implied that Cruise's catapult into fame following the release of Top Gun overshadowed her and her career. 2 years later, he fell for his co-star on Days of Thunder, a young Australian called Nicole Kidman. Cruise denied having an affair with Kidman, but almost as soon as the ink was dry on his divorce papers, the couple went public. True to the pattern, Cruise would go on to repeat for next 4 decades. Kidman was, at that point, far less famous than her boyfriend, and only 22 years old. Their relationship, which ended in 2001, was the longest of his life and arguably led to the most critically acclaimed period in both of their careers, and that famous photograph of Kidman leaving the divorce lawyer's office, pumping the air in relief. According to former Scientologists, their marriage floundered when the church decided that Kidman was a suppressive person who could jeopardize the spiritual well-being of Cruise and lead Isabella and Connor, the 2 children they adopted, astray. The Church of Scientology denied these allegations. Shortly after their divorce, Cruise entered a relatively brief relationship with Spanish actress Penelope Cruz, who he starred with in 2001's Vanilla Sky. The early part of the new millennium was not an easy period for him. He publicly fell out with Steven Spielberg in 2004 when he put up a booth promoting Scientology on the set of War of the Worlds. Then he criticized Brooke Shields for taking medication to cure her postnatal depression and briefly lost his movie star gloss, instead becoming a figure of ridicule. The period culminated in a 2005 Dominic Dunn profile in Vanity Fair headlined, "Has Tom Cruise Lost His Marbles?" Advertisement.